Joining me now is Hanan Ashrawi, a member of the Executive Committee of the PLO. Thank you very much for your time. Are you disappointed that Arab and Gulf states are attending this meeting in Bahrain in spite of Palestinian objections?
Well, we had hoped that the Arab countries, despite their issues of self-interest and some of their alliances with the U.S., would not host nor attend this. But at the same time, we understand the imperatives of their own personal interest, as I said. No, the issue is not whether the Arabs will go or not. The issue is creating a false impression that there is an agreement with the Israeli and American unilateral steps to annex Jerusalem, to annex the Golan Heights, to drop the two-state solution, to not to talk about Palestinian sovereignty or freedom or independence, but to transform the whole issue into an issue of an economic well-being, and to try to get some investments for Palestine or the Palestinians, knowing that the term Palestine does not exist in their invitation, nor does the term occupation exist, since they are dealing here with smoke and mirrors, and they are dealing with a hypothetical situation, with an academic paper, and with recycled projects that were tried before and that failed precisely because of the occupation and because of Israel's infinite capacity for destruction.
The Palestinians are facing their most challenging period in their history since 1948. The division between Hamas and Fatah, the ongoing siege on Gaza, and as we've seen recently, America's strong support for Israel, not to mention the changing geopolitics in the Middle East, is certainly not helping the Palestinians, is it?
No, certainly not. Add to that the whole wave of populism and the whole wave of right-wing extremism and xenophobia and ideology and so on. All these things, and total disdain for international law and human rights, go against any just solution and against the Palestinian interests, because we base our whole approach on legality and morality and justice, and these things do not exist in modern terms. However, we still maintain that we do have rights that are not only inalienable, but they are not subject to negotiations. In Palestine now, there is a total unanimity, full agreement by all political parties, from Hamas to Fatah to others, and by all components of Palestinian society, including the private sector, that this type of exercise is a circumvention of the real issues. This, as I said again, is a hypothetical that fails to address the issue of the occupation and the imperative of Palestinian independence and freedom, and tries to create the impression that the Americans are engaged, therefore buying more time for Israeli unilateral measures, expansionism on Palestinian land, and at the same time circumventing any attempts, preventing any attempts at a serious political engagement. That's why the ramifications are political and are extremely serious. The issue is not investment, even though the $50 billion are not for Palestine. They are to be shared by Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, and the Palestinians under occupation. But this is an attempt at entrenching the occupation, at legitimizing it and normalizing it on Palestinian land, and at the same time repositioning Israel to become a major economic, political, security, military power in the region. This is the danger, an unnatural reorganization.
Hanan Ashrawi, but the reality is, if you're not there at the table, is that not going to be dangerous in the mid to long term? The fact that you're not going to be part of the process. And if not, how can the Palestinian leadership regain the initiative?
Well, first of all, there is no political table. This is an issue of hypothetical potential, exploring the potential of maybe getting some funds for the countries in the region, and therefore implementing certain projects and so on. This is not reality. That's the point. The damage would be done if we go to such a charade, if we participate in such an act of grand deception and say that it is a legitimate way of solving the issue. This has been tried before, repeatedly. You can ask all the American administrations that tried a political and economic solution. You can, Netanyahu is the one who coined the term economic peace. There is no such thing as economic peace. The problem is Israel's unrelenting theft of our land, our resources, and control of every aspect of our lives, and its ability to destroy everything. So we cannot be party to this act. And we had hoped that no party that is serious about peace will participate. I mean, there are many big international powers that refuse to participate, and those who are participating at the technical lower levels because they understand. Those who cannot say no to Trump and this U.S. administration are participating, and those who have their own alliances and their own accounts with the U.S. are participating. But everybody knows, including the Arab people and Arab public opinion, that such an attempt will only backfire.
So let me just ask you the question.
Still not being addressed.
So let me just ask you the question again. How can the Palestinian leadership, given what you've just said, regain the initiative? Become part of the process and move it forward?
There is no process. We have an initiative. We presented it repeatedly. It is based on international law and legalities. It is based on numerous UN resolutions. We did present a proposal for an international conference with a concrete timetable, with concrete steps to end the occupation, to begin the dismantlement of settlements, to begin the unraveling of this lethal situation of control that we are in. And this proposal is in line with the international consensus on the two-state solution, the 67 borders, the illegality of the acquisition of territory by war, the illegality of settlements, and so on, the acceptance of the 67, and Palestinian sovereignty and freedom. These are issues that do not need to be explored or reinvented. There is a plan. What we need are steps of implementation, a binding time frame, and of course accountability for Israeli violations persistently and consistently. We have the initiative. We are not the ones who changed. The issue is that now the U.S. is trying to deflect the real issues, is trying to circumvent the issues that are needed, and trying to give Israel all the rewards it wants, and to destroy the Arab Peace Initiative, and to say that Israel can be a key player in the region, while at the same time stealing Arab land, stealing Palestinian territory, and maintaining this lethal occupation and control of Palestinian lives and territory.
Hanan Ashrawi, thank you so much for your time. Moving on.